let's take a look at Man City's goalkeeper situation now. It's been reported recently that PSG goalkeeper Gianluigi Donnarumma has evoked the possibility of a move to England with Italy teammates on international duty this month, with both Man City and Man United said to have expressed an interest in him. Donnarumma's will soon be entering the final year of his contract at PSG, and although they want to keep hold of him, both parties are yet to agree terms over a new deal. So there's a bit of speculation there over the possibility of Donnarumma leaving potentially this summer if they want to get a fee for him,
Yeah.
instead of letting him go for free next year. So this sort of speculation comes at a time when, of course, there's been plenty of rumours about the futures of Ederson and Stefan Ortega at Man City. Guardiola was recently at a golf event last week, and he said that both goalkeepers will stay at City this summer, despite interest from Saudi Pro League and Bayer Leverkusen interest in Ortega. But of course, both goalkeepers are out of contract in the summer. This could represent the last opportunity to cash in on one of those goalkeepers for City. It's thought that Ederson in particular, he's still open to a move to the Saudi Pro League. So
Yeah.
his situation seems to be far from over just yet. So we'll start with Ederson Ortega, Stephen. Having heard that Guardiola said that both are going to stay, are you surprised by that at all? And do you think that for either goalkeeper there is a realistic possibility that either of those could actually still go this summer?
Yeah, I think one of them will go. I'd be amazed. I've looked, the quotes sounded like Guardiola was saying the staying, but I think it was more the expectation with the translation, as opposed to affirmative. And I think he wants them to stay. He's asking them to stay. And I think City will probably like it because it's easy that way. But I still feel one of them's going to leave. I, maybe two. Look, it could steamroll like that. And if City get a decent bid for Ortega, 15, 20 million, and someone wants to be number one over in Germany, and he said, I want to go, City would accept it. And that point, you've got a bit of an issue there. But obviously, Scott Carson's gone, and look, that's not a big issue. He's not playing much, but you can't have three goalkeepers leave who've been part of training in the senior setup for such a long time. And Carson, for what it's worth, we laugh, but he's one of the homegrown registered players as well. So City have squad balancing issues there as well on that front. Look, I sort of don't want players here who don't want to be here. And I think there were signs last season. Ederson was great, but also I think towards the start of the season, particularly, his head was not in it at all. He was very distracted. You could see it. His form was erratic. And Edison can be a little bit erratic every now and then, but it was very obvious to me there was an element of him feeling like he's here, not against his will as such, because that's strong wording, but definitely because things hadn't planned at gone how he wanted them to. So I I want a new keeper at this point. I think Ederson doesn't want to be here. Look, I'm fine if he is because he's Ederson. He's brilliant. He's a City legend in terms of our best probably ever keeper, one of them at very least, and it's in the top few. But I think the links to people like Donnarumma and Diogo Costa, Chevalier has been linked as well this morning from
Yeah.
what I'm reading. These are there for a reason. We've been linked to too many keepers. Joan Garcia as well was linked. I think City are playing the market and seeing who's available because we have no choice but to. I am relaxed with all these options. I think they're very different. Donnarumma, obviously not quite as comfortable with his feet, but still he played for the European champions in goal, and look, they're aggressively technical side. And the one thing Donnarumma would bring that we haven't had for a long time, he's a pure shot stopper. He's an absolutely brilliant shot stopper. World class, one of the best. And look, even though I'm so accustomed to technical goalkeepers, it'd be stupid to question Donnarumma coming to Manchester City because he's got so much ability. Diogo Costa, excellent as well. I'd be very happy with Manchester City. I think he looked great in the Nations League as well for Portugal. Yeah, they're all really good options. It just is very much dependent on who goes, and I think City obviously they're experienced enough to know that you have to keep your cards close to your chest and pull the trigger when you need to. But I'd be amazed if City want this to go on forever. I think they'll be wanting Ederson and Ortega to make a commitment on their future inside the next month or so because you lose out on targets eventually. And Donnarumma's not going to wait around for City if he's an option to move. And Diogo Costa as well. They'll want to know sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and with Donnarumma, I think United as well are linked, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, some of these top teams are sort of keeping tabs on his situation. And I think there's been reports as well saying it could be around the 40 million pound mark if PSG were to sell in this summer. So for
Affordable.
goalkeepers, it's an interesting price kick. So, if there was something going to materialize with Edison Ortega, do you think can you see City moving for someone like Donnarumma? Would that be one that's realistic?
Yeah, I mean, why not? He's one of those things that once again he's proven himself at the highest level of football. He's Yeah, he's a cracking keeper, and he was the number one for the team who's just won the Champions League, playing a highly aggressive possession system, and he's one of the best shot stoppers in the world. So, yeah, as much as he is an Ederson with the ball, I don't know how much Guardiola would care about that. It might be an awful lot, but with Luis Enrique, one of his best friends in football, who matches him, in terms of his philosophy aggressively. Look, why not for City? If you did PSG, why not City? So yeah, I think he would suit City if we want him to. And look, there's a lot to be said for that City, I presume, aren't going to concede as many chances as last year. But when they do, there'll be big chances. And Donnarumma is one of the best in the world at that. So I've watched for years with slight jealousy at what Courtois did against City in the Champions League, because look, Ederson's a cracking keeper, but he's not a shot stopper in the class of Donnarumma or Courtois, for example. And I think you do need, in the way that you need big moment forwards, big name, big moment midfielders. I think you sometimes need a big moment goalkeeper as well to win elite trophies. And I don't think it's a coincidence actually that when City won the treble, Ederson probably had his best run of form in terms of shot stopping in ages. He was excellent in the Champions League final and made some big saves. So I think Donnarumma would bring a hell of a lot of experience already, despite not being the oldest. And he's a world class keeper. So yeah, he'd absolutely would suit City.